Now to Sean Diddy Combs' investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotursky, is at the scene of his arrest.
CNN has made public fresh audio recordings purporting to show Diddy attempting to buy off jail guards, raising the possibility of him engaging in unlawful behavior while he was detained.
Team news tonight. Diddy hungry? Sean Combs apparently refusing jail food. Some say he's missing his private chef and convinced he will be poisoned. Because remember, it's all about him. Okay, it's not about his alleged sex trafficking victims. It's about him. He actually thinks someone might poison him behind bars. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories.
Diddy reportedly fears being poisoned in prison, so he's avoiding eating prison food. He believes someone might try to harm him while imprisoned, leading to his decision.
And I know he's in the MDC right now, but he better hide under his bed because Gloria Allred is up his tailpipe now. In the last hours, is there ever a moment that a lawyer who is used to talking for a living realizes I should just shut up? Apparently not in some cases. In the last hours, TMZ, who is creating the downfall of Diddy on Tubi, our friend Harvey Levin, who created TMZ, sits down with Sean Combs' lawyer. I want you to hear what happened.
Back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely threesomes, how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in the parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby.
Diddy reportedly avoids eating prison food out of fear of being poisoned. He also thinks that someone may try to hurt him when he is incarcerated, which is what led to his choice.
I was reading through what Diddy just got arrested for, right? The parties, what was happening at the parties, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Anyway, I was shocked because I just watched this movie, and this movie, Blink Twice, is just eerily similar to everything coming out in these Diddy reports. Sometimes I feel like art tries to tell us what's going on in real life. It's a good thing that justice is about to be served. I just hate that anytime something like this happens, the discourse, oh my goodness, like I know there's gonna be just like a cult following of people that are just like, he wasn't guilty, he was just about to buy NBC, and like it's just gonna be this conspiracy. Like, why does this always happen? But yeah, the details of everything, my goodness, it's like been over the last, since that Cassie suit came out, there's been more and more, and it's like every single suit that comes out, or in this case, you know, when he got arrested for it, it's just like more details, more details, more details. It's like, yo, there's a lot of complicit people, for sure. Like, I feel like we're still in the beginning stages of all this. Like I think it's going to be wild to see what happens in the next.
Following Diddy's retirement, everyone is anxious to see what will happen next. They are interested in possible legal actions and their results, as well as how they might affect Diddy's future career and public image.
Of New York. He is facing federal charges there. He was indicted and he turned himself in today. All of this has been brewing for months, with a slew of people coming forward with allegations against him, lawsuits coming out with allegations against him. And if you remember, just last week, he did not respond to one of the lawsuits, so he got a $100 million verdict. Probably going to need that money to pay for his lawyers now. Now, we don't have a whole lot of information just yet. Like, we don't know what the actual charges are just yet. But what we do know is that the feds executed a search warrant on his home back in March. That means that they were investigating this case for months prior to that. And then they've been presenting this to a grand jury since June. That's how much evidence is in this case. They've been presenting this to a grand jury to get the indictment since June. His lawyer says that he's been completely cooperative, and he even moved to New York last week because he knew these charges were coming and he wanted to turn himself in. But the federal system is not like the state system. You don't automatically get a bond hearing. You have to actually request a detention hearing. And at that detention hearing, it's almost kind of like a preliminary hearing. They bring in the agents and other witnesses to describe what happened for the judge and to tell why he is a danger to the community or why he is a flight risk. And in certain federal cases, like if it carries over 10 years in prison, there is a presumption that you are a flight risk, and the burden shifts to the defense to prove that you are not. It's going to be real interesting to see
Numerous allegations of Diddy's behavior in prison have surfaced since his detention, with speculation focusing on how he is adjusting to life behind bars and engaging with other convicts.
Get real bad. These are all the charges my boy is catching. Y'all see that? That's crazy. Look at that. That's crazy. And then he gonna plead like he not guilty. That boy went to court today. It's looking like he gonna be there for the rest of his life. Look at that, y'all. Still don't know why he got so much lubricant. Okay, I know why. Bro is wildin', like that ass. He wildin'. I just think Diddy needs to stop trying to fight these allegations. He got caught so many times red-handed. What's crazy is that he even was allowed to walk on this earth freely for some time. But it's getting lit for you, bro. You have no way. And all the people that he allegedly did all those things to are coming out, and they're letting him like rest. He will go to jail for life, forever, eternity. Death row.
Diddy's release from prison is unlikely to occur soon because of serious charges or complicated legal issues that will make it impossible to settle his case swiftly or amicably.
And his registered number is 3752-054, age 54, black, male, release date unknown, bitches, unknown. And he's in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Now, I think that's where he's going to stay until the trial begins. His attorney is trying to get a swift trial. He's also trying to get him out still. Now, Tiffany Red made a statement last night. Today, I feel a little safer knowing that Sean Combs is behind bars. I'm grateful to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and Homeland Security for stepping in and showing Mr. Combs and the music industry, which enabled him, that they are not above the law. This past year has been incredibly stressful and terrifying at times, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to free myself from all of this dark experience. Now, Tiffany, when Cassie first came out, Tiffany did a interview on TV. It is in my playlist. You guys can go back. Tiffany also has her own lawsuit against Diddy. Mimi Fawcett's dating show has been cut short because of the relationship of Stevie J and Diddy. Sorry, girl. President and CEO of Warner Music Japan resigning. CEO of Sony Music Nashville resigning. Why are all of y'all leaving all of a sudden? And yes, Diddy had a 50-50 venture with Warner Music Group. I'm not sure about Sony, but definitely Warner Music Group. And more black men are just willfully ignorant like Faison Love. When has being nasty been a federal crime? When you coerce people, threaten people, blackmail people, people, assault people, kidnap people, that's when it...
After years of alleged misconduct, many individuals are happy that Diddy is now facing legal repercussions because they believe that justice is being served for his long-term behavior.
3 components: the act, the means, and the purpose. The act occurs when the trafficker recruits, harbors, obtains, or solicits a person to engage in commercial sex. And commercial sex has a very general definition. It basically just means when sex is exchanged for some type of value. Now on to element number 2, means. Remember in element 1 when we talked about the act, they actually have to act on it. They actually have to solicit the sexual activity. Element 2, means, is how they go about soliciting it. They do it by force or fraud or coercion. This can include threatening to harm someone physically or psychologically or even their reputation. And the last element is purpose. And purpose is the most straightforward one because the whole purpose of this is to engage in the sexual act with said person or people or group. Those are the elements that make up sex trafficking: the act, the means, the purpose. And an element is like a key ingredient that you have to have in order to achieve a certain outcome. Think about baking a cake. At the very bare minimum, you need flour, you need eggs, you need baking soda. If you don't have at least those 3 things, I don't know what you're baking, but it ain't a cake. So that's what elements are. You have to have at least those 3 ingredients to get to sex trafficking. If you don't have those 3, you don't have sex trafficking. And there's a big misconception that you have to transport or travel this person across state lines, because we know the only 3 ingredients you need to get to sex trafficking is what? The act, the means, and the purpose. If you're traveling with them too, fine, but you don't need that. Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about present day. Now we all know and discussed in the last video that his bail was denied. Now let's talk about why. Diddy's attorney focused on how he's not a flight risk. He's going to turn over his passports. He's selling his plane. He'll wear an ankle monitor and stay in the home. But the prosecutors focused on obstruction of justice. And that the issue wasn't about him leaving. The issue was about if he's...
Diddy is facing very serious allegations that make it unlikely for him to get away with it legally. Many think he should refrain from any more misconduct while he's incarcerated, since it may make things worse and make his release more difficult.
They arrested his mule. Just so we're all on the same page here. This is the dude that Diddy had muling all of his stuff. And he was arrested yesterday with Diddy when Diddy was trying to leave the country. Look at this man. Look at the look on this man's face. This man is telling on everybody. And I know that when you've got somebody muling your illegal stuff for you, you want them to look unassuming, but you can assume just from looking at this dude that when he got caught, he was gonna tell. You don't want your mule to tell. And they found this dude in possession of quantities of that Colombian camel dandruff and some marijuana candies. And he was trying to transport them across federal lines on an airplane. So he's cooked, and I'm assuming everybody that he knows is gonna be cooked with him. I can't wait to see what 50 Cent has to say.
Diddy's muleteer following a federal raid on Diddy's home. Someone who was supposedly working for him was apprehended while evading the law. It is possible that this person was involved in illicit operations related to Diddy, which resulted in their apprehension during the investigation.